Honestly, it will save everyone the headache. Or you can just take these tips, keep it in mind, and everything should be fine.
Grab a drink and a snack and be ready to chat. Real talks only. Politics, boy tricks, fitness. What's it like it is? I tell it like it is, in my opinion. Listen, she says.
Hello everyone and welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time zone that you're in. My name is Lisette, here to keep the real on check. Today's Real Talks, what you should know before deciding to live with roommates. I have a lot of experience when it comes to living with roommates, let me tell you. First year university, I had one roommate. We shared one room, one small room, and I just happened to live in one of the not so nice residence buildings compared to the rest. They actually I lived in Glengarry and they called it Glen Ghetto. Or there was a new one this year that I heard, Glenitentiary. Like, even though it doesn't really apply anymore because I also went back into that building and it has been renovated. When I lived there first year, what are we in? We're in 2020 right now. I was first year in 2015. So in 2015, Glengarry was actually Glen Ghetto, okay? Windows didn't open. There's barely any sunlight. There was bars on the window just because the building was the tallest building. So people were actually committing suicide from that building, so they had to put bars on the windows. The place, it was just, it wasn't it. It wasn't it. So yeah, one roommate, 7th heaven, 7th floor. And let's just say that it wasn't the greatest matchup. They made you do this survey compatibility test, and that's how they match you to a roommate. And I'm telling you, the only thing that me and my roommate probably had in common was that we like to drink Starbucks. And not even that she worked at Starbucks and I like to drink Starbucks. I mean, don't get me wrong, wonderful experience. I met a lot of wonderful people first year that are still in my life to this day. It just wasn't it. I'm sure if she was sitting here right next to me, she'd say the same thing. We just didn't click. It just didn't mesh. Great person, just didn't mesh. After that, I moved in with 2 girls. If you didn't already know, I went to school in Ottawa. I went to Carleton University. So yeah, I had a really big room. It was one of the biggest rooms that I've had living in Ottawa. Loved it. I mean, there were some issues there, but it's not very worthy story time, so I'm not even gonna bother. But yeah, I lived with 2 other girls. Why I had to leave? Okay, I will give a slight story time, because I feel like it's so weird telling people's business, but I mean, it's my experience, so it's my business too. Yeah, so that situation was living with the 2 girls. It wasn't that bad. We got along. They did want to like hang out and eat dinner sometimes together. Sometimes I would oblige. Sometimes I'd be like, no, it's okay. I'm just gonna stay in my room. They were very open and welcoming. There was an issue with me getting the biggest room even though I just got there, but that's the room that I saw when I was viewing the place. And anyways, I had to move from that place because one of the girls decided to go home for issues I won't go into, but she decided to go home. So our landlord never gave us the opportunity to find another person. He was like, oh yeah, it will be much easier if I just find 3 people that want to live together than versus you finding one. I mean, if that's the math, I mean, I was never good at math, so if you guys feel like that calculation adds up, I'll let it go. But anyways, I was quite upset about that. I had to leave, and I really, like I said, I had really liked that room. After that, I ended up moving into kind of like a basement studio, if you want to call it. I had my own room in the basement, my own bathroom, laundry, everything. It was lit. The only catch, 6 boys were living on the top floor. So I was the one girl and then there were 6 boys on the top floor. It wasn't always like that. It didn't happen until the school year because I had moved into this place during the summer and it was just me, another person, and another woman. So it was just the 3 of us in the house. And then once the school year started, the landlord decided, yeah, I'm gonna fill the house. I think there was about 3 bedrooms upstairs. 3 bedrooms upstairs. There was 1 bedroom in the living room kind of area. Another bedroom. So it had to have been 4 bedrooms upstairs, and then 1 bedroom in the living room area, and then my bedroom in the bottom. Right? 4 upstairs, 1 in the living room, and then mine in the bottom. Yeah, because there were 6 people in the house. So I lived with 5 other boys. So that was a thing. This guy I used to have issues because there were so many people upstairs. The landlord was like, okay, you have to share your bathroom. For the whole summer, that was my bathroom. It was my bathroom. Nobody ever came to that bathroom. Soon as September rolled in and all these men came into the house, I was then told that I had to share my bathroom with, I think, the one on the living room floor. The person living on the living room floor, not necessarily anyone from upstairs, but the one that was living on the living room floor. I guess it's faster to go down than up, but basically I had to share the bathroom with the living room floor guy, and he used to come down and he used to leave the toilet seat up. Now you tell me if I'm over exaggerating with the hurt that I feel in my heart. You tell me, because and you know, it's funny because we would get into these back and forth, and one time he told me, I live with sisters, I've had 3 sisters, so in my head I'm thinking, so then why are we having this back and forth? Anyways, one day he put a sign up on, because I had said to him, can you please just be mindful, put the toilet seat down when you're finished, because what happens if, you know, I go to the bathroom in the days at 3 in the morning and I'm not really watching and I just sit down and I fall into the toilet? What then? He thought that was quite amusing. He puts up on the wall, takes time to write on a piece of paper, watch before you sit, stupid, or dumb. Something, one of those 2 things he said to me, wrote it on a piece of paper, taped it up over the toilet. Look before you sit down. So yeah. Anyways, that happened. I dealt with that. And to give you a little bit more of a juicier context, the day that guy, or the week or the time that he was moving out, tell me how that man knocked on my door, talk about, can I take you out to lunch or dinner or whatever he said, can I take you out? After everything that you put me through? No. What are we in kindergarten? Were you doing that because you had a crush on me? No. I don't like that. I don't rate that at all. If it is that, you know, that whole, you know, in kindergarten when they pull on your ponytails because they have a crush on you type thing, no, I don't rate that at all. If you wanted to take me out on a date, you can take me on a date without putting me through all of that. Because I asked you very nicely and very politely, and you made me get uncivil. That was living with the guys. Other than that, boys are not that difficult to live with because they pretty much stay to themselves. I did have to do majority of the cleaning. I upkept. One of the guys had one time said, you know, the landlord should pay you under the table because you keep this place pristine. And I'm like, yeah. Then after that, I had gone home for the summer, came back, and because I wasn't there, the house was destroyed. The house was destroyed. There was maggots in the sink. Floors were dirty, never been probably swept once. It was a disaster. So even if I was thinking of staying, it wasn't gonna happen. So I had to move out. Now I had a previous friend and somebody was moving out from her apartment, so I ended up moving in with 5 other girls. So I went from 5 guys to 5 girls. experience there was much better, much better, much better. Living with girls, you have to. Girls were complex beings. Women are complex beings. So living with women and more than one, like I said, I went from 1 to 2 to 5. So like living with more than like 2 can get a bit dicey. It's still possible, but it can get a little dicey. Now I'm gonna go into like 7 things after all of my experiences. I'm gonna give you guys 7 things that I feel that you should know before you decide that you want to live with roommates. I feel like this is crucial. Do not live with roommates if you feel like any of these 7 things are something that you cannot do. Do yourself the favor and do the people that you're living with a favor, because it might be expensive to live on your own, but honestly, it will save everyone the headache. Or you can just take these tips, keep it in mind, and everything should be fine. So we're gonna go into the tips. I'll say it and then kind of go into it. So the first one that I have down: have a compromising attitude / personality. Okay? If you expect someone not to do something, or you don't want someone to do something or not to do something, then you have to be prepared to not do something or to do something that somebody else wants you to do. It's just common sense. Compromise. Give and take. Give and take. You cannot expect me to follow the rules if you're not going to follow the rules. You can't expect me to follow rule 1, but you're not doing rule 2. Like it just doesn't work like that. So you have to have a compromising attitude, and you have to be ready to compromise. You cannot expect that someone that you are moving in with these people, over time you do end up building a relationship and they become like almost like a family. But at the end of the day, these are still people that you didn't grow up with, so they don't owe you nothing. You cannot expect, but you can compromise. Tip 2, be clean. Okay, for the most part, you need to be clean. I'm not saying that you need to have a certificate in hygiene or have a certificate in housekeeping, but you need to be clean. You cannot say that you want to live with roommates but do not have home training. Do not understand that when your surroundings become filthy, it's time to clean. If you do not click, if that does not click with you, if you're watching this right now and you're like, oh my god, what are you talking about? Do not live with people, okay? Like, I can't stress that enough, because it's not fair. It's not fair. I know personally, I don't like living in filth. I would have to clean and clean and clean and clean and clean. And another thing, don't expect that, oh, you clean the kitchen one day and then the next day for it to be the same way. Especially if there's 5 other people in the house. Don't think that you wipe down the table 1 hour, that 2 or maybe not even a half an hour later, that table is not going to be dirty again. So you have to be prepared to constantly clean, to be consistent with your cleaning. If you know in your heart that you are going to be a slob, that you are going to keep your dishes in the sink for over 24 hours, you're going to open a can and then keep the can on the table, if you're going to keep rotting food in the fridge, if you're going to allow maggots to fill in the sink, if you're not going to take the garbage out on garbage day, if you're not going to separate the recyclables properly, like, if you know in your heart that that's going to be an issue for you, like Sadie says, don't live with roommates. All right. Next, 3, being a mix of an introvert and an extrovert. This is a good one because I am both. I'm a Gemini. I don't know if that resonates with a few. So I already technically have that kind of 2-sided thing going on. So I am an introvert and I'm an extrovert. There are times where I want to be introverted and I want to be in my room. I want to be by myself. I want to be watching my Netflix, eating my popcorn, just on my ones. And then There are times when I'm an extrovert, when I want to be out with everybody in the living room. We can have a drink, we could play some Monopoly Deal, we could watch a series, a movie, you know. On my quarantine time, living with my roommates, we went through the Harry Potter series. We watched a little bit of the Vampire Diaries series, watched a lot of movies that we want to catch up on. Great time. It could be a really great time when you're living with people. And that kind of goes to my next point. I'll kind of just mash these two together. You want to hang out and you want to bond with your roommates. You cannot expect, especially if you're living with 5 other people, to just go in, come out, go in, come out, and not engage with the people that you're living with under the same roof, you know? Yes, there will be times where you want to have your alone time, but you cannot expect to live with 5 people and never chill, never get to know them. It'll be kind of weird. So being a mix of an introvert and an extrovert and bonding with your roommates. That's 3 and 4. 5, appropriate times for overnight guests or just guests in general. Just, you know, you have to be mindful. Nobody's saying that you cannot have overnight guests or guests in general. People are coming in and out of the house, in and out of the house. Now, right now, we're in a global pandemic right now, right? So right now, overnight guests and guests in general on a frequent basis ain't it. You know what I mean? No, and again, no one's saying that you need to block yourself off from your significant other or your sneaky late night links, whatever you want to do. Like, nobody's saying that has to be a complete act, but be precautious, be mindful, know what you're doing. You're having people come in and out of the place. Wipe down the knobs with Lysol wipes. Be proactive. Be proactive. Nobody's saying don't, like, it would be better if it's a complete lockdown, you're not seeing anybody, nobody's coming in, nobody's going out. Like, that would be the ideal setup. But if you really gotta get it, you really gotta, you know, whatever, be precautious and be considerate. Common sense to me. Number 6, being considerate of shared spaces and things that are bought by others. If you know that you didn't buy that pot, wash it. And make sure you don't leave it and forget that was your pot and you used it. Like, if you know that you need something, ask for it. You need to borrow some butter, you need to borrow some sugar.
You were wondering if we can borrow some brown sugar?
You need a clove of garlic. I don't know. Ask. Simple. Not rocket science. Ask. You need to use something of mine, ask. And hey, that once you've got my permission, I've said, yeah, go for it. What's mine is yours. After that, make sure that you put it back. You wash it. You return it. Simple. These things are just so simple. But again, if you feel like right now I'm attacking you, or you feel like this is too much for you and this is gonna, like, you can't handle it, do not live with roommates. Don't live with roommates. Number 7, be responsible for your own mistakes. Okay? Or, you know what? I don't even like your own mistakes. Just be responsible. Just be responsible. If you know that you put garbage outside of the door because you didn't want to, I lived on, I know I'm kind of pulling from my experiences, right? You guys kind of got that. I lived on the 4th floor of an apartment and we didn't have an elevator. I think we could sue, but like, I digress from that. If you put garbage outside the door because you didn't want to go down 4 flights, hey, I can understand. But make sure that when you're leaving the next day or when you're leaving the house, that you take that garbage bag with you down the stairs. Why would you leave it there? Why would you leave? It's garbage. So why would you leave the garbage outside the home for it to then smell up the whole entire stairwell? Why would you do that? Why? I don't know, but it's been done. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. There's an app for a garbage day that you can download. Know when it's time to take the garbage out, and just Be mindful. Nobody wants to be around garbage. If you are going to live with more than 5 people, I would suggest that you create a cleaning schedule. Though there was a cleaning schedule in the house that I live with the guys, and I'm telling you, most days those guys, it was created by the landlord too, and most days those guys would just check off on the schedule. But I know, because I'm looking and I'm living in the home, and I know, say that the task didn't get done, but they would still check it off. Anyway, at least to have something there so you know what needs to be done, to have a chart out for everyone to see and know when maybe it's their day to be the cleaner, and then everybody else kind of just helps along the way. Because at the end of the day, even when you have a chart and you say, okay, this week is this person, this week is that person, I personally don't feel like that one person should be responsible for all the cleaning in the home. There should be, okay, one main person that holds the week, and then everybody else kind of just pitches in. And trust me, if that was something that could actually work, because I haven't actually seen it work, but if it's something that could actually work, I'm telling you that your house would be clean, you would probably be happier, you would feel happier, your mind, like a cluttered area, cluttered space, cluttered mind, you know? I personally like to keep my place clean, like to keep my place organized. So if you, it's also reverse. Here I am, it's kind of slightly hypocritical. So I'll go and I'll speak from the other side. Damn, because speaking from the other side is hard. You should just do these things. Oh, if you're someone who feels like you cannot handle these things that I've said, to me, the things that I've listed out here are things that are kind of common sense. You should have learned this from home, like, you know, home training, that I was raised to keep my areas clean, to keep myself clean, to keep my house clean. That's how I was raised, and I just assumed that that's how everybody else was raised, but that's not how everybody else was raised. So you also have to understand that everybody's not cut from the same cloth. We don't all come from the same place. We weren't all raised the same way. The whole nature versus nurture, you know, you can go into that for however long, but at the end of the day, I think my ending point here is you can look at this from either sides. If you have issues with the things that I've said, and I don't want to say this to deter people from living with roommates, because living with roommates can be a rewarding experience. You can meet new people. There are roommates that are my good friends and that will remain my good friends, but there are also people that I don't plan to ever talk to again. You have to know yourself and know your capabilities, and number one, know whether or not you're a compromising human being. Because even though I had issues with all the things that I went through, I barely said much. There were times that it got really bad that I would have to send a message to a group chat, or I would have to talk to someone face to face, whatever that case might be, and be like, hey, look, like XYZ gotta stop. XYZ, can you be mindful? XYZ, can you just please? You can't be afraid to speak your voice, speak your opinion. Anyways, that will be the end to this video. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share this video to all your friends. This has been the Real Talks, what you should know before deciding to live with roommates. Let's Eddie says.